Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to another Win More, Earn More webinar brought to you by Isaiah Industries, manufacturer of metal roofing systems. So I apologize. We normally have been doing these, trying to do these on the first Wednesday of every month. Last month we had to delay it a week because of something else going on. And this week we had to delay it a week just because I couldn't get my act together. So it is entirely on me. But our intention is to get back to doing these the first Wednesday of every month. I would invite everybody. So we have a whole list of topics that we're hoping to cover. But if you have something specific that would be very timely for you or your organization for us to address and dig into, or even bring someone in as a guest to discuss, let us know. I will encourage everyone also to check out our podcast, Construction Disruption, at construction-disruption.com, where we also have a lot of great guests and a lot of great content. And finally, we do a twice a month e-newsletter specifically for residential metal roofing contractors. That is executive-report.com. We have about 10 years of archived past issues on there with some great content. And make sure if you aren't getting that currently, you can subscribe easily by going to executive-report.com. So again, I am Todd Miller with Isaiah Industries. We have several of our other team members that are on here with us today. So thinking about a topic today, I know that one of the things that we hear from a lot of folks is leads have been a little slow for a couple of months, a few months. And, it varies a little bit based upon where you are in the country. Of course, some areas of the country been hit by tragic storms here recently, which will tend to make contractors busy for a while. And certainly our prayers are with everyone impacted by those storms. But I thought, well, let's dig into a topic today that we have looked at as a company a few times before, but as I took it out and dusted it off, I realized I think it's been about 9 years since I've really dug into this. So I updated it. We're going to talk about, as promoted, something I call referral maximization. So let me share my screen. Hopefully everyone can see my screen, and I'm going to try to. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that just fine. If you cannot for some reason, speak up or let me know, but I'm guessing you can probably see it. Oops, we've got Maria coming into the room. I'm going to welcome her. And we will get started. So, referral maximization. We're going to talk a little bit about why we all love referral leads and how good they are for our businesses. But our chief thing here is to talk about how can we maximize the number of referrals we're getting, and how can we maybe take a little different approach to referrals than what we normally take. So, referrals are referrals. Kind of remind me of something came out of several years ago, a book called The Ultimate Question. And the ultimate question for any business should be, would you do business with me again? So generating referrals is really the equivalent of asking your customers the ultimate question, would you do business with me again? Because if they would do business with you again, then they should be very free and very comfortable to refer you to their friends and neighbors as well, so that hopefully you can do business with them. Obviously, for a home improvement or roofing contractor, getting more referrals is the way to maximize your top line and your bottom line so that you can maximize your sales and also maximize your profitability. Don't need to tell you anything here that you don't, because it's stuff you already know, but the benefits of a referral lead are certainly there's some implied trust. If their friend or neighbor has said, hey, I worked with these guys and it was a great experience, then there is implied trust there that is given on to the person they refer to you. There's also the idea that if that person has been referred to you by their friend or neighbor, they kind of want to keep up with the Joneses. There's a certain degree of, okay, my friends did this improvement to their house or put on this nice new metal roof, and I want to do that too. So there's that aspect of it. The other aspect of it is that lead comes to you because they must have something you want. They've talked to their friend or neighbor, they saw what they had done, and they're like, well, I want that too. So you must have something that they want. You'll also find a lot of times a referral lead, probably in terms of demographics and all that type of stuff, probably matches your typical customer persona because for the most part, most of us have friends and neighbors that, at least from a demographic standpoint, kind of match ourselves. So there's that aspect of it as well. They've also probably talked with their friend and they have some idea of what it's going to cost them. So they've already been price conditioned to some standpoint. And then finally, of course, a benefit of a referral lead is that it ends up being a much lower cost lead than any lead you're going to get from traditional advertising. So let's think for a moment about what's happening to advertising costs. We know that any of us who have been in the business any length of time at all, you know that advertising costs continually go up. And of course, the answer for traditional advertising, if it doesn't work, is, well, just spend more money with me and maybe it'll work then. Not saying that that isn't a good idea a lot of times, but that is the reality that we get into when we are doing advertising. We also find that response rates have gone down. I mean, I kind of joke about this because at this point we're talking about technology that's 30 years old, but used to be that the same companies that would come in to try to sell you to advertise on the TV were the same companies coming up with ways to help to help the TV viewer filter out advertisements so they didn't have to sit through the advertisements that they were selling to you, telling you were such a great idea. And we also have found that, with the what I call Amazon culture, consumer behavior in regards to advertising has changed. I mean, consumers oftentimes will see a product and their thought is not necessarily, well, I'll call that company and check into it, but their thought is, I'm going to do some research online, see what I can learn about that, look at some reviews, look at product reviews. There is not just this natural connection to seeing something advertised anymore and then immediately contacting whoever the advertiser is and asking them for information. So these are situations I could go on and about how digital advertising is changing things, but these are situations that aren't going to improve. They're not going to get better or more productive or more conducive to traditional advertising. So I'm going to ask you a question. What if you could stop all traditional advertising that your company does after 2 years? So go ahead and keep doing what you're doing for 2 years and then stop it all. And you could still go on. I could show you a way that you could double your sales year after year after year with no more traditional advertising. I think everyone's probably saying, yeah, yeah, show me hot shot. That sounds like a pretty good deal. I like that idea at least. Well, let's look at the numbers here. So let's say that we start to maximize our referrals. So let's look at some numbers. Let's say you're just getting started. Year one, you sell one job and it comes from traditional advertising. The next year, you sell two jobs. One of those jobs is from traditional advertising. One of those jobs is a referral from that job you sold the year before. At that point, you stop all traditional advertising. You focus strictly on what you can do to maximize your referrals. At year three, you're going to sell three jobs because you're going to sell one referral job from that job you sold in year one and the two jobs you sold in year two. So you're going to get three jobs. Year four, you can add up the numbers there. You're going to get six jobs. One from year one, two from year two, three from year three. That's a total of six. Year five, it magically doubles again to 12 jobs. I take that on down to year 10. Again, no more traditional advertising, strictly focusing on referral maximization. Year 10, you sold 384 jobs. So I want to look at what will happen if you set the wheels in motion to sell one referral job from every past job each year you're in business. And you have to ask yourself, is this really possible? Well, the numbers I just showed you truly do not lie. Now, some folks will say, well, what if my customer moves? I'm not going to get referrals from them anymore. Well, actually, if that customer moves, it just doubled your chances because you potentially can get a referral from the person that buys their home because they're still enjoying that roof or whatever you did to their house. And you might go on to get referrals from that person who moved. They're going to still have friends. They're going to still have neighbors. In fact, they're going to have a whole new set of neighbors to talk to. And in fact, that new house they just moved into may need a new roof or whatever it is you've done that for them before. So, really doesn't hurt you if they move. It actually potentially helps you. So, is this idea of referral maximization kind of a new paradigm to work from? Absolutely. But if you do it, or if you can do it, it will protect your company from future advertising costs and increases. So I get it. This probably sounds incredibly far fetched to you. And I would have to agree, it does sound far fetched. And I would not expect anyone to truly pursue this whole hog. God bless you if you do. Maybe you do and it works. But let's look at the numbers. What can happen if you just partially pursue this idea of maximizing your referrals? I should have noted to everybody earlier too. We will open up at the end for any questions that you might have, and you're also welcome to put questions in the chat, and I'll either address them if I see them or address them at the end. So, what happens if we just partially pursue this idea of referral maximization? Let's look at the dollars. Well, you know what your numbers are better than I do, but my guess is that you are normally spending, if you're selling a premium home improvement item, a higher ticket item, you are normally spending at least $5,000 for every job in advertising. Um, Again, you know your numbers better than I do, but that to me is probably a decent range for where you are. So what if even part of that annual traditional advertising spend was spent on a referral maximization program with the goal of one referral job per each past job per year? So the reality is, most folks, contractors, when you ask them about referrals, yeah, they're going to talk glowingly. They love referral leads. We all do. But here's how they usually get them. Most contractors kind of leave it to luck, or maybe they gift something to that consumer or to that past customer after they sell a job that's a referral from them. So they tell them, hey, you refer someone to me and I sell them a roof, I'm going to send you 250 bucks, or I'm going to send you a gift certificate for a steak dinner out. I don't know. But they tend to reward people after they've actually sold something. And so my question is, well, what if we start to incentivize people before you get the lead? I mean, realistically, it's the lead that you want. It's your response. It's your responsibility to sell that lead. So what this whole idea of referral maximization involves incentivizing people before you actually get the lead. And, of course, part of what this plays into is something that anyone in sales is very familiar with, which is what we call the law of reciprocity. You want to make your past customers want to help you. And to coin something from a guy by the name of Tom Peters many years ago. Wait, I'm going to admit a couple more people. You ultimately want to have not just happy customers, but you want to make sure that you have absolute stark raving fans. So let's set the stage a little bit for setting your company up to do referral maximization. First thing you got to do is you got to have a great website. And I think everyone is on board with that. You know that you do, because that referral, once they hear from their neighbor or their friend or the guy at work about you, the first place they're going to go is not going to be to their telephone. It's not going to be to stop by your office and talk to you. The first place they are going to go is your website, and they are going to check you out there. And so, also in setting the stage, you want to make sure that your customers, the folks you have sold to, know that you are committed to them because you want referrals. And, that sounds very basic, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. Our company is faced with high advertising costs just like everyone else. And that's why it is so important for us to get referrals from our past customers. As a result, we're going to do everything we can to make sure you are absolutely thrilled with this home improvement project because we truly want your referrals to your friends and neighbors down the road. Does that sound reasonable to you? And they're going to say, absolutely, love to refer people to you once we have a good experience. Now, finally, also setting the stage, you're going to want to have an easy mechanism for them and their referrals to contact you. That might be a special website that your past customers can go to load referrals directly to you. It may be some cards or forms. You can figure out what that needs to be for your company, but you do not want to make this a difficult process for you or for the prospective customer. You want to make it a very easy way for them and their referrals to contact you. Also, in setting the stage as a company, you need to make sure that you're doing what you say you're going to do. Above and beyond communication. Those are things customers remember, is the companies that communicated exceptionally well with them. In this day and age of bots and poor communication skills, they remember the companies that communicated well with them. Also, the number one thing that homeowners hate when they're having a project done on their house, they hate surprises. And so you want to make sure that when those things do come up that potentially could surprise that customer, you are very proactive and you are telling them before they had to find out on their own exactly what the surprise has been. Even if you stub your toe on the project, you want to make sure you avoid any surprises. And I think finally, another thing that, and I realize some companies don't observe this practice, but I think if you're going to truly maximize your referrals, that salesperson should not disappear during or after the project. That salesperson is who they bought from. As our friend Jeb Blunt often says, people buy you. They don't buy product. And in that case, it's the salesperson that they bought. And so it's important to leave that customer with the warm and fuzzies that they need to have in order to make sure that they refer people to you. It's important that they have an ongoing relationship with whoever it was that sold them that home improvement project, that roof, whatever it might be. Your installation crew is also important. The installation crew, as I always say, that's who those homeowners are living with during the project. I mean, that's who they see more than anybody, even more than that salesperson. And so you'll want to make sure that your installation crew is clean and respectful, that they embody the pride of your organization, they are well groomed. I suggest uniforms. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. One of our customers, American Metal Roofs up in Michigan, does something really cool with their crew uniforms. So if you look at their crew on any given day, you will see guys in red shirts and guys in blue shirts. The red shirts are the more experienced people. The blue shirts are the less experienced people on the crew. So one of the things they will tell their homeowners is if you have any questions during the course of our project, seek out one of the red shirt guys because those are our more experienced people who will be able to help you with your question. And so it lets the homeowner know who they can contact. And it also makes it very clear to the homeowner that that company cares about its team members and they're trying to develop them and bring them along by explaining this blue shirts are beginners, red shirts are more experienced. I love that concept. I'm sure they wouldn't mind it if someone stole it. I also suggest very strongly making sure that your crew foreman is checking in with the homeowners at the start of and end of each day. Now, first day of the project, they need to have a conversation with that homeowner, or maybe even your concierge does this before the project even starts. But you're asking them, hey, do you want us to check in with you every day at the start and end of every day? Or would you rather we just come in and get at it and do what the homeowner wants? Because there are homeowners that are going to say, oh, if they come to my door before 8 o'clock, I am not going to be in position where I want to see them. And I haven't had my coffee yet at that point either. And they may also say, well, I'd love to talk to them at the end of the day, but I probably won't get home till about 6 o'clock from work most days. So you have that conversation with them and you do accordingly. I strongly suggest that your crew offers a walk around with the homeowner at the end of each workday. So that is a process of the crew leader walking the homeowner around the project, showing them what was accomplished, pointing things out, answering questions. Because if you don't do it with that homeowner, you know they're going to be doing it on their own, right? They're not going to come home and just ignore everything you did. And it's far better because a lot of times as we look at home improvement projects, questions come up and there are things that people don't understand. And if they don't understand it, suddenly they're calling their neighbor or their friend to come over and take a look at it. And people can get off on wrong foots and misunderstandings. So much better if that walk around that homeowner is doing at the end of every day is in the presence of your crew leader who can point things out, answer questions, all that type of thing. Okay, here's an idea that can lead to referral maximization. At the end of your job, consider sending the homeowner a letter and saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, thank you again so much for your business. We enjoyed working with you. As is typical of our company, at the end of every project, we do a careful cost analysis. And guess what? We actually found out that we were more efficient on your project than we thought we would be. And therefore, enclosed is a rebate check of $243.79. Again, you're talking here about referral maximization. That $243.79 would be money you would have spent on advertising. Now you are spending it on maximizing referrals. I will guarantee you that homeowner is going to remember that $243.79 for years to come. And that will become part of the story that they tell people they refer to you. Hey, these guys even did a cost analysis and found out they were efficient and they shared that money with me. That is just something that is going to stick with folks forever. And again, where does the money come from? Comes out of your traditional advertising budget. I also suggest personal thank you notes. I know it's a pain. You can do it by email, which works well, from the owner of the company, from the salesperson, and either from the crew leader, or if you have a concierge that works with customer service, you could have it come from the concierge as well. Strongly suggest a satisfaction survey, which of course would feed your online reviews, whether you're using one of the services for that or what, but do some sort of a satisfaction survey. And then it's going to be very important for your salesperson to follow up 30 days after the job was completed, make sure everything's okay, make sure any questions are answered. And a lot of times that first 30 days are prime referral time. So at that 30-day checkup, you're also checking to see, hey, any friends or neighbors show an interest in the roof that perhaps I should reach out and talk to? See what they say. And then, of course, finally, if there should be a stubbed toe or a hiccup in the project, you want to make sure, again, no surprises. You want to make sure that your company gives an immediate response if any problems or surprises should occur. So, at the end of the day, you want to ensure that your customers have an incredible experience, again, making stark raving fans with them. Make sure that they feel they were treated with courtesy, professionalism, and excellence. Make sure that they are absolutely thrilled with the end result, including how any hiccups were handled. In fact, I claim that you almost want to have a small hiccup come up along the way so that you can prove yourself that how you handled that hiccup, because they'll remember that more than they will the project that went perfectly smooth. So make the hiccups be good things. There's not necessarily anything wrong with them. So, what are some strategies? And I'm going to share a few strategies here to maximize your referrals, but I would also encourage you to brainstorm, get your team together. Hey, we're going to make referrals a big part of emphasis. We're willing to spend money to get referrals. Get your team together and brainstorm on how you can maximize referrals. But let's look at a few additional ideas. I've given you a couple already. Job signs are an absolute must during the project, but what if you also have your homeowners agree to a job sign every 5 years, maybe just for a few couple weeks during the summer? A job sign that says, look, 15 years and still going strong. Look at this great metal roof. So, again, every 5 years, think about that. If they would give you the okay to come back and put a sign in their yard, um, just for a couple weeks every 5 years, pointing out how well that roof is doing and how it still absolutely looks like new. Feature the customers in your social media posts. Everyone loves to be on social media. Most people do. Feature their homes, feature videos with them, feature testimonials. Bruce Hicks is on the call today. Bruce is doing a great job of featuring his customers and their testimonials in his social media. Bruce and Todd. I encourage you, bring them up in your social media. You put it out there, there's a good chance they're going to share it to their friends on Facebook or whatever, and that might get you some referrals as well. Consider an open driveway vent. During the process when the roof is going up, lots of people are going to be taking notice in the neighborhood, assuming it is in a, sort of a suburban neighborhood. Consider having an open driveway vent in their driveway some Saturday morning, couple weeks after the job is finished. You can do some door hangers around the neighborhood, ask them to invite their friends and neighbors and anyone who asks them about the roof, and have some popcorn and hot dogs, and maybe hire a scary clown to entertain the kids or something. I don't know. Hire a magician. Everyone loves magicians. If you're in Ohio, shameless plug for my friend David McCreary. Best close-up magician I've ever seen. Hire David McCreary to do your driveway event. But anyway, do those events to use that time to get people in, offer a discount if they sign up for an appointment with you that morning, and they schedule an appointment with you. Salesperson responsibilities for referral maximization. They should be checking in with the customer 3 to 4 times a year. They should be making a special effort to check in after significant weather events. That's why so many good roofing salespeople are very busy this morning. Check in after significant weather events, which is the times when people are talking about roofing. I'm going to get someone else added here real quick. And make sure that every person, not just your salesperson, but every person in your organization understands and embraces their role in maximizing referral business for your company. E-newsletter. I'm a strong proponent of these. This would be a monthly or quarterly e-newsletter to your past customers, your prospects, and even your pitch and misses. Our company does have a relationship with a digital media company that can produce these monthly e-newsletters for you if you want, or really it's not a huge deal to do it on your own or have your own digital company do it. In your e-newsletter, you want to highlight the great things that your company is doing, talk about projects you have done, talk about needs you have solved, talk about the community support efforts of your company. Feature a referral of the month story. So a customer that you sell to that's a referral every month, show one of those. That reminds everyone, oh, yeah, I should be thinking about referring people to them on occasion. Put things in your e-newsletter to make it viral. In the summer, share the recipe for your favorite barbecue. I don't know. Put something in that e-newsletter that makes them want to pass it along to somebody else, so that that is another way for you to get your name out in front of people and maybe get some referrals. Every e-newsletter should have some sort of easy, quick response mechanism. Again, perhaps going back to a special landing page or something. Periodically run a special incentive for referrals. Hey, every referral you give to me this month, I'll give a 5% discount to, whatever that might be. Random acts of kindness. I love these. So you've got a rainy day, your crew can't be up on the roof. Send that crew out to power wash a couple of driveways of past customers. Anything to get in front of people, do some occasional random acts of kindness. And again, law of reciprocity, they're going to want to do good things for you if you do good things for them. Another idea would be a free roof assurance check. Don't call it an inspection. Just say, hey, we like to come out and after or before bad weather events, come out and do a free roof assurance check. Make sure everything's cool and good with your roof. They're going to love you for that. No one's going to turn you down for doing that. And it's far better that you're doing it than some other company is doing it and claiming that they're there to give some sort of free inspection. Bring them a seasonal flower. Time of year that a nice pot of blooming tulips would be welcomed by anybody that has the winter blues and a little cabin fever. Focus on spring, fall, and after storms. Those are typically the times people are going to be most likely to be thinking about their roof and thinking about home improvement projects. Just occasional thinking of you things, notes and small gifts. I had a contractor I worked with once, and every Christmas he sent my wife and I gift certificates to the local pizza place. Didn't cost him a lot of money, but gave us some nice time out, and it was very much appreciated that he did that. Um, if you see a past customer in the news, have someone in your company watching for this, because a lot of times you'll find you sell to guys, sell to people that are maybe heavily involved in charitable organizations or community support organizations, or maybe they own their own business. You see them in the news, drop them an email and say, hey, good for you. I saw you in the news, whatever. If you got someone, a little trick, if you got someone that you know might be in the news with some frequency, set up a Google alert on their name, so that Google will actually tell you when they're in the news. And then that way you can send them a note and recognize them. And, that can oftentimes lead to conversations. Hey, who's talked to you recently about your roof? Anyone I should be calling? Keep a profile on them of what they like. If you know that they are a bowler and they love bowling, then you may send them some occasional bowling news you hear about. I don't know. Maybe send them a fancy new bowling ball every Christmas, whatever. Just look for ways. And again, you're saying, okay, where am I going to get the money from for this, Todd? Again, we're moving part of that money from traditional advertising into referral maximization. You do not, though, want to appear to be wasteful or frivolous, because what's that do? That makes them think they paid you too much, right? You just want to appear and want to be, not appear, but you want to be very kind and caring. You don't want to appear to be wasteful or frivolous, just kind and caring. Referral bonuses. Again, I highly encourage that referral bonuses occur for the lead, because it's the lead that you want. It's your responsibility to go out and sell the doggone thing. So I encourage giving referral bonuses for the lead. Now, you got to be sensitive to this, because there are some customers who do not want to be perceived as making money off their friends and neighbors. So if someone tells you, no, I'll be happy to refer folks to you, but I don't want anything from it, you make a note of that. You don't forget about it. And one of the things you could perhaps do is make a charitable donation in their name, and that will be meaningful to them, shows your company cares about the community as well. If you give to the local little league in their name or whatever that might be. So there again, you might consider, and again, promoting it through your e-newsletter as well as those contacts from their salesperson. You might consider a special push once or twice a year to offer a special reward for referrals. Hey, you refer someone to us in June, we're going to give a charitable donation in your name to the local Little League. Everyone's thinking about baseball, so perfect timing for that. Coupons. Consider giving them 3 or 4 coupons. Don't give them a huge stack because then they become meaningless. But consider giving them a limited time offer coupon that they can give to their friends and neighbors so that if that person does buy from you, they get a discount. People like to help each other, and you're just giving them a way to do it. Again, where's this money coming from? You're rather than spending it on traditional advertising, you're spending it on these things to incentivize referral business. Perhaps a street discount. Maybe if they live in a nice suburban area, you run a special and you do some door hanging. Hey, we're giving a discount this month to everyone on this street that should choose us to be their contractor or for this project or whatever. Again, then that references back to that house that you did so they can go look at it and that type of thing. And so maybe it's a discount for everyone on the street. Again, though, everyone's going to tell you the number one thing if you want to get referrals is to let them know how important referrals are to you and to ask for them. Let them know that your business model needs their referrals. Set up a situation, law of reciprocity, where they want to help you. So, I love this one. Can you get referrals from pitch and misses? I believe that you can. From the folks that you pitched and didn't sell. I strongly suggest having someone in your company, maybe it's your appointment setter, be responsible for the people that you do not sell to, that you quote. Hold an exit phone interview with them or a phone exit interview with them. Find out why they didn't buy, find out what they bought, find out why they choose to buy what they bought. Leave them feeling great about you because everyone has run into someone that's had an experience with a contractor or some other service provider. And they said, oh gosh, yes, I worked with them. I would never work with them again. And so you want to make sure that if they should have a less than stellar experience with whoever they choose other than you, that you get referrals from them. And it'll sound something like this. Yeah, I chose Bob's Roofing to put my roof on. Those guys are just mess ups. It really didn't go well. But I tell you, the guy I wish I would have done business with was Joe's Roofing. Call them if you want a roof. Those guys have even kept in touch with me even after I didn't buy from them. Consider so a lot of times we'll talk about doing radius mailings around jobs that you've done. And, direct mail isn't probably as effective as it was at one time, but it still can be effective if done well and right. You can radius mail around the jobs that bought from your competition. No one's saying you can't. So if they bought a metal roof from somebody else, no doggone well, everyone on that street has been watching that metal roof go up. They get something in the mail about buying a metal roof. They may or may not assume it was the same company that sold to the guy down the road that they watched the job go up. But you can do radius mailings around jobs that you didn't even do. No one's stopping you from doing it. Now, if you lose the job to asphalt, put it in your file. Make that part of your database so that in 12 years you are calling that on that home again to see because that asphalt roof may be showing its age, and in 12 years you're checking in to see if they're ready for another new roof. May even be a different property owner at that point. So remember again, the potential is to double your business each year purely from referral maximization. Now, before we close out, I want to share one other additional strategy. This does not necessarily help with your marketing cost. But again, we talked early on about how referrals are oftentimes very good customers to work with and a lot of times a little bit easier sale than a traditional advertising lead. So, what is a way you can make every prospect, even the ones that came to you through traditional advertising, How can you make them feel like a referral? And this is something that Rodney Webb teaches. I'm stealing from Rodney, but I'm giving him all credit for it, okay? And he has a little bit different take on it than I do, but very similar process. So, um, you start this when you do close a deal, and these are the jobs you do sell. You need to set the stage this way. Offer your customers a nominal marketing discount if they do the following. We already talked about it. If they agree to a job sign now and every 5 years, if they agree to appear on your past customer list, which includes that people may drive by their home or they may even call them. You want to point that out. You may even have someone once or twice a year call you to ask about us. You want to make sure that they are completing online reviews, obviously, which help you with your online presence. And then you would also ask them to provide some sort of a written or video testimonial of what it was like to do with your business with your company. So these are things that you do with the jobs you do close in order to set the stage. Now I'm going to show you how you use this information to turn your next prospective customer into a possible or into feeling like a referral. So, on your next customers, you want to offer a discount. And you do this very upfront. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, if you do the following for us, we will give you a 5% discount when we get to the end and we're pricing out your job. Offer a discount if they drive by at least 5 previous jobs from the list you gave them, if they read or review all of your testimonials, or view if it's a video, all of the testimonials you provide them. So you want them to make sure they've read all those or looked at all the videos. And then finally, if they call at least one of your past customers and have a phone conversation. And that's really what you want to drive them toward, because that is what will set up that prospective customer to start to feel like a referral and to start to behave like a referral if they have a phone conversation with one of your past customers who seems like an old friend and is happy to talk about you. And one of the things I've seen that done, it's what Rodney teaches, is if you're doing some busy work, maybe you're measuring, maybe you're working on their quotation during the appointment, that is when you give them the list and say, hey, just pick someone up out at random, and give them a call, and see what they say about us. For that, you might even want to consider on your prospective customer list, or your past customer list, including times of day that they're ideal to be called. So if you got someone that's retired that you know is best to call in the afternoon, you mark that, versus someone that works and they're best to call in the evening, you mark that as well to help give them some guidance as far as who they might call. So that said, that is our referral maximization. Again, I encourage you, spend time with your own teams brainstorming on ways that you can do this. What are things you can do to improve that customer experience, to make stark raving fans, and then to encourage, invite, make it easy, make it positive for them to give you referrals, which would include working on that law of reciprocity. You do good things for them, they're going to want to do good things for you. Feel free to call me anytime. Got my information there, or reach out to your territory manager or your customer support specialist with Isaiah Industries. They're happy to help as well. I am going to stop my screen share in just a brief moment. Okay, let me see if we have any questions. I do not see any questions. Anyone want to unmute yourself and have any questions or response, or share something your company is doing to maximize your referrals?
Good morning.
Hi there. Hey, Maria. Good
Uh,
to see you.
Good to see you, Mr. Todd. I just wanted to show real quick. I really love the driveway event because we're doing a job in Grand Prairie. and a lot of bystanders keep coming by. And unfortunately, I'm not on the site. Only the crew is there, and the crew's on top of the roof.
Right.
So it would be a great idea to maybe do it at the beginning of the job, or do you recommend at the beginning or during?
I think during or after, I probably wouldn't do it at the very beginning. I do think the drama of after the job is done is a great time to do it. But, if you know you're going to do it and the homeowner is agreeable to it, I would either have a sign made or put some flyers someplace convenient, out maybe where your crew is staging stuff, right from the beginning of the job that promotes it says, hey, on Saturday, March 27th, we're going to have an open driveway event. Stop by, grab a hot dog, have some lemonade with us, and let's talk a little roofing. And if you come that day, we'll give you a 5% discount if you choose to do business with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone have anything else? Oh, might have another one here. Let me look. Yeah, someone's asking me if companies have done this. Yes, I do know companies that have done partial this, bits and pieces of it. I wish I could point to someone and say, hey, they went whole hog. But what I will usually find is, companies that are being very intentional and purposeful about maximizing referrals are going to have at least 30% of their sales each year from referral. I think it's possible to bump it up beyond that with a little extra intentionality and purposefulness. But that's what I will typically hear is the guys that are trying to do these things will get themselves up to around 30% referrals. But man, I'll tell you, that holy grail of being able to double your business every year just off referrals is pretty enticing, I think, for anyone in this business. Dustin asked if anyone here does driveway work, I think, as far as referring to driveway events. You know, I, I don't know if anyone on this call does. That's not unusual, though. I have known a number of customers that would run those Saturday driveway events, and they're usually pretty good. I mean, I'll usually get four, five, six people stop by and usually set one or two appointments out of those. Hopefully get a deal out of it. What strategy has surprised you the most? Um, I'm gonna go back to something I think is cool that I didn't even talk about. So I had a contractor who, for many years, he's kind of gone away from this, but his job signs that he put up during the project were fairly large. Customer agreed to it, but the job signs actually had a big old arrow and I think a pair of eyeballs pointing up to the roof, and he would position it so that that arrow would draw your eyes up to the roof. And I'll tell you, those things were pretty eye-catching. People around town would talk about it, and they'd be looking at the roof. And so I that's again just a basic job sign, but the style of it that contractor did, I thought was pretty ingenious. Well, thank you all very much for joining us. Again, my goal, our goal is to do these the first Wednesday of every month. So sometime before that first Wednesday in April, we'll be in touch. If you have any subjects you would like us to tackle, please reach out to us and let us know because we want these to be as beneficial to you as they possibly can be. So let us know if you got any ideas. That said, it looks like the questions have slowed down. So take care of it. Oops, well, hold on. Got a couple more. Oh, just saying thank you. Good stuff. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Take care. God bless. Call us anytime we can be of help. I love stuff like this. So if you just want to get together with me and brainstorm on some ideas, I love that process as well. So take care, everyone. Thanks so much. Be careful, be safe out there, and we'll see you soon.